If you're a business owner, there's actually ways that you can get free vacations. And Brian's going to explain what we mean by free, and you already know what a vacation is.
Yeah, so one of the big things I oftentimes see is, there's a handful of business owners I know that try to turn kind of like a handful of work opportunities into free vacations. And then there's also some that literally have the same opportunities, but they don't take advantage of it because they either don't think about it or they don't know the rules or they don't know any better. Now, obviously, myself and Sean, we're not accountants or CPAs or anything like that. So make sure to run this by your own. But typically, what you want to basically do is, if you have a business or you're starting one or, you have an existing one, you probably have at least a handful of opportunities where you can travel for work, whether that be you have a speaking opportunity, whether it be you're meeting with a possible client, or whether it be an existing client or even a prospect. If you have to basically travel, regardless if that's like 1 hour away, a state or two away, or a country away, or across the seas, that technically is a business trip. And the rules often with that are when you travel, you want to make sure if the majority of the trip is for the business, then you can write off a lot more of the expenses. And they don't count, like I think last I checked, weekends didn't actually count as like official days in like the calculations that you have. So like let's say you were meeting with a client, let's say on like Thursday and Friday, and you arrived on Wednesday, and you then left Monday morning, let's say. So technically you were meeting and doing basically business stuff that Thursday and Friday, and maybe you flew in Wednesday morning and had that whole day free and you had the weekend all free. Well, that entire trip could be a business expense and could be a business deduction that you could get. So essentially you get a free vacation on that. Now, of course, you're still paying to essentially travel there, unless, of course, you're using like reward points and stuff like off of credit cards, which we sometimes do. But you basically get to deduct that off of basically off of your income. So if you're in like a higher tax bracket, well, congratulations, you just saved over a third on that right there. Now, another thing or like another example is, let's say that you're even a smaller like mom and pop. Let's say you don't have overseas clients or anything like that. Well, you can always look for opportunities that you could apply to your business. For instance, my wife does a lot of like furniture rehabbing and stuff like that, where she'll basically take like a dresser or like a bunch of dressers or basically peacock chairs, and she'll essentially rehab them and sell them for a lot more. Like she'll buy up something for, let's say, $50, sell it for $700, something along those lines right there. So we could technically get like essentially a truck or something like that, go 3 hours away to, let's say, a place, let's say there's a big store there, like a thrift store or some like used furniture store or something along those lines, where we could basically buy up a handful of things. It still would be a business trip. We still would be making a fair amount of money on that right there. But that entire trip then could technically be a business expense, even if you stayed like, basically a day or two to have some fun there at the same time. So in a case like that, it's even better, because not only could the entire trip be basically a business deduction, but on top of that, you could be making money at the exact same time. Same thing if like you're meeting clients and all that right there. Those are opportunities where you could turn that into actual business and make additional money off that, while still enjoying at that point almost like a free vacation. I know Sean and I have spoken around the globe. We've had like tons and tons of opportunities to speak. I don't actually travel, and I know Sean also doesn't as much as we used to, like many years ago, because it was more fun at the start than it is later. But it got to be that, hey, if I had the chance to speak at an event, I would think, hey, is this a fun place that I would kind of want to go to anyway? And if the answer was yes, I might be more likely to accept that gig. And we'd be making money on that trip there, but we also would be, having like a little vacation at the exact same time. So the main purpose of the trip was still a business trip, but you could turn it into a vacation and get, again, a free vacation off that right there as a result of that. I mean, Sean, I know you've basically done this a bunch of times. What's your experience there?
No, absolutely. And I've been able to take business trips to visit with clients or joint venture partners all over the world. And that's been a great opportunity both to travel and see things and to make connections that you can't make if you don't do it in person. The other thing that I want to mention with regard to this is if your spouse works in your business, then your spouse can travel as an employee of the business like you do. And this is spouse, significant other, partner, whoever this might be. You don't have to actually be married to them, but that also makes a difference in terms of what you're able to do in terms of the cost of the travel and the expenses that relate to that. So it's a great opportunity to take the stress of business and business travel and turn it into something that's a bit more enjoyable if you do some planning. Again, as Brian mentioned, we're not giving you specific accounting, tax, or legal advice. You need to talk to your own professional advisors and make sure that what you want to do is completely above board and straightforward. But there certainly are things that you can do that are. And you'll get a tax advantage for doing that as well as enjoy the vacation, right, Brian?
Yeah, and with that as well, like let's say, you don't have a client or you don't have a prospect or, you don't have some opportunity in the place that you want to go. Well, I'd be willing to bet that there's some kind of essentially business event or basically business conference in most of the locations that you might be interested in going to. So if you just basically pop on Google and essentially type in the location and type in like whatever the keyword related to your business is, followed by like event or conference or mastermind or something along those lines, you'll probably find like heaps and heaps and heaps of opportunities where you can attend an event there, which would be a business trip. You could get a bunch of contacts there, learn a bunch of stuff, but also have a little fun at the exact same time there. So that's another thing that can work real well right there. Again, of course, if you are a business and you have a lot of expenses, you can also, again, use the good credit cards with all those reward points, especially ones that are geared towards travel, to actually turn it into like an actual like free vacation on top of that. So not just one that, is basically a business deduction. So if you like this, make sure to like and subscribe below here. And also make sure to watch some of our additional videos all about how to help you as an entrepreneur grow your business, save extra money, have some basically tax tips and stuff, and all sorts of stuff. So make sure to check us out and like and subscribe below. Thanks, guys.